Marketing knows that a fully integrated approach for your senior living company is vital in reaching your targeted audience and helping them through the entire decision-making process. We like to call this omnichannel marketing. And what that really means is taking advantage of every single channel available to you to communicate your message. We're going to talk today with Ryan Blanco, our Vice President of Strategic Growth, to help understand omnichannel marketing more.
Hi, Ryan with Marketing. Our growth topic today is omnichannel marketing, and I'm here with Chris, and we're going to talk a little bit about that subject. For someone who may not be familiar with that term, or someone who only knows a little bit about it, let's start with the basics. What is omnichannel marketing?
Omnichannel marketing is this evolution of integrated marketing and then multi-channel marketing to now something that we're referring to as omnichannel marketing. And what that really means is we are building this customer-centered approach that uses all of these different channels. We talk about omnichannel because we're saying, social media is a channel, a website is a channel, digital advertising is a channel. There's all these different channels that we are developing to help a customer get to that end decision-making moment in that buyer's journey. And so omnichannel means that we're building an ecosystem around the customer that allows them to have multiple points of interaction. So a company is developing this full experience for them to be immersed with the message, the brand, cohesive strategy that a company is presenting to them.
I think we've all experienced omnichannel marketing in our own personal lives, especially like in a retail environment. Yep. But can you tell me how that would work for senior living?
Sure. So with omnichannel marketing, it is a lot more present than people realize. It's just a good example that I use is the idea that Disney has these bands, they have a website, there's all of these different aspects. You can now load photos onto an armband. So how does that work for senior living? I think for senior living, it's really important that one, there's cohesive messaging between a marketing team and a sales team. And then two, it means that the social media message is the same as maybe some collateral, some sales material that's printed out, and is the same as the messaging when someone comes into a community and sees signage on the wall, and then continues through that journey. If there are televisions, if there's activities that are happening in their rooms, if there's, if a company is invested in a program to help their customers, those parents, the family members, to all know what's going on, that's also present on the website. So it really means thinking through what are all of those points of interaction for a customer, then becoming a resident, and their family members to engage in a company and receive the same information no matter where they're interacting.
That's a lot of different parts and pieces. That sounds like it could be complicated.
Yeah.
So what are the fundamentals of creating omnichannel marketing?
So fundamentals with omnichannel marketing really means thinking through that buyer's journey at the beginning. Not trying to just add on and saying, oh, we've heard about something like TikTok, so let's just dip our toes into it. It really means saying, okay, how are all of these different pieces connected together, communicating with the same language, and helping this customer, helping this resident to receive the information that they need at each stage of their journey. So it means mapping out that journey as well. What are the decisions that you are looking for them to make? What is the information that they need in order to make an informed decision? So it's putting yourself in the shoes of the customer at each step of the process and building that map. That's the biggest fundamental, that you're saying, I want to develop a roadmap for my customer through the lifetime of their experience. Not just getting them in the door, but through the entire process, that they would understand who you are as a company.
And each customer can be different too.
Absolutely.
So is that a matter of how do you handle that? And each person's journey along the way is different. How would you handle that in an omnichannel approach?
Sure. So part of the omnichannel approach is recognizing that you're going to have different customers, different audiences, and then just doing that step-by-step process. Because the resident's journey may look a little bit different than the loved one or the significant other's journey, which just means you need to be thinking about those people when you are communicating on your website, communicating through social media, communicating through digital ads, all the different channels that you're using to communicate. Are you speaking to each one of those audiences?
So TikTok may not be the best option, but
might not be.
But what are some tools that you could use if you're going to adopt an omnichannel approach?
Sure. So I think there's a lot of channels out there, and I think another fundamental is don't start to implement a channel until you understand it. You know, we joke about TikTok, and right now, because we're in a digital age and due to COVID, there's a lot of social distancing going on. So actually, it might be a time where, as a community, you could have a really fun TikTok channel that's sharing the activities that residents are participating in, because parents, families, loved ones are struggling to see what's happening in these communities. We can't go in, we can't see these people. And so that means that we're looking for opportunities to share those activities. So maybe TikTok's that, but don't just do it because it's trending in other markets. Do it because you've thought through, okay, I need to use this platform intentionally to communicate something, because there is a disparity between what the activities, what the seniors are doing, and what is happening, in allowing family members to come in and see them. So back to your question, the important thing to remember is there are some key channels that need to be utilized immedately. Website is so important. 80% of decision making happens online now. Before we ever enter some physical place, 80 to 85% of us are going to review that business online. And so having a strong website is so important. Having social media presence is so important. We know there's a lot of interactivity, and then it's just building on top of that, saying, okay, what are the ways that we can strengthen those? What are some other channels that we can look at to make our company more robust?
And something I just thought of, so once someone is interested in your community, how does omnichannel marketing help with that lead nurturing process?
Sure, absolutely. So lead nurturing is a big part of omnichannel marketing, because it allows marketers to say, we recognize we've built out now these different stages in this buyer's journey, this customer journey, and we want to speak to you at each one of those stages. So lead nurturing says, we don't want to inundate you with emails that don't make sense. What we want to do is recognize you may be looking for information, and at each step of your search, we are aware of that, and we want to reach out and say, hey, here's a new resource. Hey, here's some other material. Hey, here's new activities that are going on, and bring people into that awareness, rather than just flooding their inbox with garbage emails that don't make sense to where they're at.
Okay. So if someone was interested in looking at omnichannel marketing, what would you sum up? What would be your summation of how they should proceed with that?
Yeah, I think omnichannel marketing for senior living is so important, because there are a lot of channels out there that residents, family members, loved ones are using to search, to find, to discover what's happening with senior living. And so I think it means sitting down and making a strategic plan. That means communication between the sales teams and marketing teams, and ensuring that language is congruent across all the different platforms that are being used.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Chris.
Yeah. At Markentum, we want to help you connect with your audience. So talk to us today about how to implement an omni-channel strategy for your senior living company.